I'm just going to be very brief since we already did an introduction in the gallery and Cynthia offered those very eloquent words about the exhibition. But I always think that it's a good idea to have the artists, besides the work that we have in the gallery, which is also a few years of the artist's life, to have them show us other projects that they've done. And I know Becky has created sculptures and installations all over the world, and she's been working for years developing her ideas. So I just wanted to have this opportunity for her to briefly run you through some of her her larger, most important pieces. So thanks.
Okay, this is a large scale pieces selection, and we're going to start with a Science Museum in Mexico City. This is a project that took 3 months to work, and it's made out of aluminum, and it's called Maya's Cosmos. There are some images from inside. They wanted to protect the computers and the books of the library, and that's why they wanted an artist to do so, and they didn't want just to have, you know, a kind of a cage that it would look not nice. So I was inspired by the Mayas and did this kind of sun changing colors, and I went also to the facade of the building, and this is process of it. This is a piece made out of compacted radiators and glass, and it is at the Skokie North Shore Sculpture Park, and it started in Navy Pier in Chicago. It forms like a circle with these 4 different elements. This is another piece made out of concrete. It's in Mexico City, in Parque Ecológico Guayamilpas, also in the university section. And it resembles Quetzalcoatl, the serpent. Another view. It enters like in the ground and then it leaves again. This is a piece in Israel. It's made out of iron. There is a scale with me because we never know how the pieces are until we see a person by them. This is in Acapulco, Guerrero. It is made out of resin and fiberglass, and it is still there. There has not been graffiti, nothing on that piece. Everybody feels like it belongs to them and they take care of it. And that's one of my positive feelings towards public art, that people have to live with that and learn to live with art, not only inside of the galleries or museums, but also outside. This is process of that piece. This is a piece made out of copper. It was in the UNAM, and today it is in the permanent location in El Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico City. And there you can see a scale. You can see a person in the background. Maybe some of you know this piece. It is in Scripps Memorial at the Wallstein Sculpture Park. And thank you, you're here. Thank you very much. Resin, fiberglass, iron, and wood. And I don't know if there is a, yeah, that's the process of that piece, so you can see the scale of it. It's all handmade, painted in the outside, and with an iron structure inside. In lots of my work, I deal with natural materials or natural elements like natural roots and plants, and then I try to rescue what for others is scrap, and for me it becomes my primary material. And then I fuse these 2 elements together, like natural plants with aluminum scrap or iron scrap or stainless steel scrap. And this was a small piece that I made from a natural, a real cocote. That's the way these plants are called. and then I decided I should do it in a large scale. But lots of my work deals with this nature, the organic world, and then fusing it together with the technological and more cold materials.
What's inside of that?
Inside of that, there are like thousands of wood pieces painted in aluminum color. The real piece has aluminum pieces.
Scrap metal. It's scrap metal pieces.
Scrap metal pieces. This piece is the Golda Meir Plaza. I was invited to make a bust, a face of a woman, and they called me from Acapulco, and when I heard that in the phone, I said, oh, I'm not gonna make a bust because we have like hundreds of busts all in Mexico City, but if I say no, they will call someone else. So I have to say yes, and then convince them that it's not really worth to do a bust because it's going to be one more. So I said, yes, by phone I'm going to do the bust of the woman that you want. And then I went to Acapulco and I talked with so many people. It was a huge table with many men and women. And after a couple of meetings, I convinced them that if they were going to spend money in a piece, it was worth to do something that is more important and contemporary, and that really people were going to take care and turn to look at. That if we were going to do a face or a portrait of a person, nobody would going to turn, and it was not important, and that I was not going to do it, of course. So with time and lots of consistency, I convinced these people that I wanted to do this piece. I brought art books and I showed them that today it is not so important, as my opinion, to do another portrait of a person. But what was interesting with this piece is that for the opening, these people were standing and it was a beautiful sunny day and there were shadows on the ground. So they said, oh, this is the profile of the woman that we wanted. And I said, yes, it's true that there is a profile, and there is the arms and the ears and the head, and they were so happy to see these parts of the woman in the shadow, in the shade on the ground. So this is the short story of this piece. So for me, really, it was a great success to be able to do this piece when we know that they started with the idea of making a portrait of a woman. So it was for me a challenge, and I'm very happy that it was done. So this is Israel, and I work here with a stone and glass, and I work 3 different pieces. And I work sometimes when trying to caress the materials, or I just try to understand what the stone or the tree wants me to do with them. It may sound maybe a little weird, but this is really true. You never know how it's going to be the stone when you arrive in a different country. So you have to sit and think and feel and then decide what you want to do with it. So these were 3 different pieces that I did with those stones, and the work with glass was also in a different way. This is a piece I made as an homage to Camille Claudel, and this was also a challenge because I wanted to do something that really resembles her life. So here these stones are like trapped with heavy nails, and it gives the sensation that they cannot move. And in the center there is a path of life. And for the opening, these little seeds were already green. So it was this struggle of movement, and there was life in the center without an end, this very thin line in the center. And I asked the people there to put this piece in the center of a green, beautiful park. And I hope it is still there. And it was a piece that when I explained what I did, people were able really to relate it with Camille Claudel's life. This is an installation that I did in New York when I did an internship. It's not permanent, it was temporary. This is a piece that it's in Cuernavaca, Morelos, and in an elder's house. And what makes me happy about this piece, it's a happy positive because of the colors, but when we went to take it there, that was a period when the Comandante Marcos, with all these moments we were living. And the people over there, they were saying that they were happy with this piece because they felt that this one was Comandante Marcos, this one here, and he had only his eyes uncovered, and that there were the other people screaming and discussing, and it was nice because that gave conversation to the elder people, and that's part of the intention, that the piece creates something in the spectator. This is a piece that it's in a private collection in Mexico City, made out of glass and iron. This piece is in my school where I studied all my life in Mexico City. I decided to leave something there, iron and glass. And this other piece made out of stone and iron, it's in the entrance of the ABC hospital in Mexico City. And it has also life, the plant and stone, natural elements again. This is iron and glass, and this piece is in Modena, Italy, in the museum.
How did you paint the metal?
By hand, with this. It's not with a brush that you just cover with spray. I wanted to. If you see like white in the back, and sometimes I like to really do it by hand, not with a spray gun or with a brush. I like to feel the surface, and it's a paint that it's special for the outside.
And the choice of your color palette?
It's Mexico. If you have been in Mexico and you have traveled there, this is Mexico, absolutely. And maybe it's not logic to mix a reddish with a kind of a strong pink, but I just loved it, and I wanted to have a strong, positive, vibrant color in many of my pieces.
Pink is usually associated with the female and the feminine. Is there any kind of feminist statement being made here?
I don't think there is that of the feminist. Maybe it's unconscious, could be, but I think that I have lived with color all my life, and I think it's in there, and when I'm working, I am not struggling to find out what color I'm going to use. I just work every day till today, very spontaneous, and I just let it go, and if I feel I have to do something with that color, I just go and do it, and sometimes I feel, oh my God, that looks terrible and I have to take it out, but I really try to do it and then realize if it's the right color or not. But I'm not afraid of trying to put colors and to combine things that maybe it seems that they don't look nice together, but it's worth to try. And it's when you arrive to Mexico City with plane, if somebody has done that, and you see from the windows, you see full of color everywhere, and that's what I lived all my life, and I guess again it's inside, and it just flows very natural. And in fact, the pieces here in the gallery, the tall pieces, the piece that it's called High Rise, if you remember, they had also this kind of finish, and now I am thinking, and I didn't think about that before, it's also like layers and layers of color, and you can see the color that it's below, and then you see the other layer and the other layer, and it's not that I just like to paint and cover it, but I really like to add and add until I feel it's done and it's ready to show. This is a piece in Italy. It's stone and glass. This piece had a mention honorifica, a honorific mention. And this is the process. And this is a very special piece as well. I don't know if I was talking about this piece before with some friends, and we were talking about the issue that you don't know always what you're going to do when you start working. I was supposed to get here a different kind of wood. I was supposed to get pine, and when I arrived to that symposium, they told me, oh, you know what, we didn't have pine, so we have an olive for you. And when I saw the olive, I said, oh my God, my project cannot fit with this piece of wood. so I told them I had to change my project. And they said, of course, you can do whatever you want because we're not giving you what we said that we were going to give you. So I thought a lot, and I really tried to understand what I needed to do with that wood. Like, she told me what to do with hair, and it came out a beautiful piece, a very poetic piece. We were 30 artists from all over the world, and I was so proud and lucky that they gave me the first prize there. And these are just details from the sides. But if you see, this piece has lots of holes and knots, and it was just beautiful. I didn't even want to touch it because it was incredibly beautiful. That's why I just did very, I cut it, I polished it perfect, I did the round ends, and then I added some little details, and I never expected that they were gonna give me the first prize. And this is here in San Diego. It is now in the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center, made out of ceramic and tiles and iron. And this is another gourd. It is now in Pachuca, and it's waiting for a nice location. And when I'll find a good location, we'll bring it from there. It's also with aluminum scrap inside and made out of resin and fiberglass and hand painted. That's the scale again. This is another piece that I did in Luxembourg, and this piece rests today in the center of a lake, and it's absolutely beautiful. I asked for that. So you see the dogs in the lake, and this is like the long table for them, where they gather and talk one to each other. This is the process of that piece. You see how long it is in that photo over there. And then it has like a channel in the center, so these stones go inside and then they rise again. This is in Israel, and it's in a regional clinic. It's made out of wood, and there is a little house over there in the top. This is in Spain. This is stone. And this is here in San Diego. This is a banner in Chula Vista that I made, and I hope I have it from the other side. No, I don't have the other side of the banner. This was made in Seoul, in Korea. And it's granite and iron. This is a large piece. I'm sorry I don't have here a photo with me, but I had to work on the background because it was very busy. There were many buildings in the back, and they didn't allow to appreciate the tree over there, but it's a large piece. This was in Venice, and I think you saw these sacks in the window. But these sacks are today with this piece in the Open Air Museum in Portofino, Italy. For the opening day, I had corn and aluminum on the ground, and so many doves arrived, and they ate all this corn. It was beautiful, the opening day. The sacks are Mexican sacks for beans and for corn. And they are not using these sacks anymore. That's why I wanted to rescue them and to work with them. Today, these sacks are made out of plastic or raffia, and they are made in Taiwan or in China. So this is something that is not there anymore. And I just fell in love with them when I saw them for the first time. And then I decided once again to put together like something that is cold, and because it's something that has a machinery process, like the aluminum. So I started to knit these, or weave, or knit these sacks with aluminum strips, and the metal is what gives these sacks structure and body. I decided to make here the structure of a house, and all these elements hanging from that house, and they move with the wind. And I covered also the structure of the house with a sack material. And also for this piece, I decided to cover with aluminum some trees around the piece in order to make a whole ambiance, a whole installation, not only the piece, but everything that was around of it. And again, it's putting together something natural with something that it's aluminum or metal. This is Institute of Technology and Management in India. And again, we had a very busy background with this photo, so I tried to take it out. And it's a huge piece. As you can see, it's 10 feet by 5 by 12 feet. It's a very large piece. It is granite, iron, and iron. And again, I didn't do too much to the stone. It was so beautiful that I decided just to leave the way it was, almost caress it. This is another angle, and there's the scale, so you can have an idea of the size of it. Over there, that's another piece that I did, and I asked the organization if I could grab one of the bonsai trees that they had in the institute, and they said, well, why would you like to take a bonsai to your country? And I said, no, I want to do another piece and to take one of the elements that you live with and to use it for my piece. And that's why I did that kind of hole in the stone and put that bonsai and then the little house by it. And then the director of the institute told me that he installed this piece in the entrance of the cafeteria outside, but in the main entrance. And he says, Becky, your piece is the piece that everybody uses every single day. They sit there all the time or they read, and that's like a meeting point. They say, we'll meet in that piece. And this is also something very important for me because they are living with art and they try to, take care of them. It's not that they come and make graffiti or scratch. They're just using and living and respecting art, and that's one way of educating students to appreciate and cherish art. And I think that can be part of a change maybe in the future when all these students are going to be curators or museums directors. We never know, but it's positive to give that opportunity. This is a banner that I did for Korea, for the FIFA, the Football International, how is that? FIFA Football International, what? Federation, yeah. And they invited me to do something, and that was, it was important for me too. I was already living here in San Diego, and again, to move is an important impact, and I wanted to use the border issue, and that's what I did. And I wanted to use my color as Mexican with the faces of the people that work with these flowers, and do something happy, positive with my identity. This piece was made out in France, and that was another challenge because they told me that was a symposium where I could grab what they had. There were many materials, and for one reason I arrived there a little bit later because I was coming from another symposium in France, and there were only these pieces. That was an animal cage or a bird cage, and there were just the pieces there on the ground. And I said, oh my God, there's no many materials to choose, so I'm going to do something out of it. So I did like a tree with these pieces. And then I welded a little house, and then I did another piece with this grid and the triangle and the rectangle, and I also draw on it. And there is a tool, a working tool in the back, and that's what holds the piece. And every day when I finished working, I used to hang my gloves, like you see one glove over there. So there were many gloves hanging of this piece, and I decided to leave them there because they looked like flowers. With the wind, they were moving, and I said, they will be there until they last, and that's fine. And it turned out to be a very nice piece, and people there loved it. This piece was made for open in Venice, Italy, and I wanted to do like a scenography where people could be able to interact with it. So I did these 2 benches and table from one side, and if you see, it's the day time, but it's dark. So I like to work also with opposite things and duality. And from the other side, it's the night, because we have there the moon. And the door, I wanted to do a piece that you can go through the piece. So children loved this piece, and parents used to say, no, don't touch, you know. And I said, no, this piece is for that. People can open and play with it and sit and eat their lunch. So it's a piece that it was very welcome in that event in Venice, and I was happy because I was able to see that they accepted and they're really living like actors of this scenario. And this is, I will finish my talk with this piece. This is the most recent piece I did in Israel, and this was for celebrating the 60th anniversary of the State of Israel, and I didn't know what to do. And I thought a lot, and I decided to make 60 houses, and each house had a number there, you can see, from 1 to 60, and I decided to do an interactive piece in the park. So I walked through all the park before starting to work, and I was with a paper and signing and marking in that paper of mine all the sites that I like in order to go and cut floors, stones on the walls. There is an antique amphitheater, Roman amphitheater, and I asked for permission to work on it. So I did these 2 houses here and one here. You see? So I left. Sorry, I did put the houses all over the park. It's a huge, beautiful park, and it has a beautiful lake. And I put the number 6. That's my father's date of birth. I had like my own secrets, you know. I said, I want to leave something special for my family. So I did that number 6 in a stone, and then I put it inside the lake. That photo is inside this beautiful lake. And then, as I didn't sign all of the houses, I decided to sign with these 3 ones. This is my month, date of birth, year, day, and month. That was my signature, but it's only me who knew that. And I did put the houses in the restrooms, in the entrance, and it's an interactive piece because many schools visit this park, and they have told me that the piece that they like most is this piece of mine. I'm very happy about that, because they say to the children, okay, go through all the park and tell me how many houses do you find. So everybody goes and look for the houses, and then they say, okay, at 2 o'clock we will meet in the house number 44, and we'll meet at 3. And then also with schools and families, they meet in the different numbers of the houses. So it's very interactive. It's different than having one piece, one large piece in front that they see and that's it, they go on. So this has been, again, I like that piece. And there are small pieces. You don't need to have a large piece in order to be able to live with it and to enjoy it. These are very small pieces, and it's very interactive every single day when people and children and family visit this park. And I think this is it. I don't know if somebody has a question. Yeah.
Do you ever make sad art?
Sad art?
Sad art?
Sad art. That's a good question. You know what? I don't think so, but I think that, I don't know if sad or not sad. This is a question that I have never been asked before. I think that when I am working, I just do whatever I feel, and maybe there are some pieces that you may feel there is sadness in there, because we all have happy days and sad days, and this is normal, but I have not think about that. So maybe there are some pieces that you feel a sad feeling there, but that's not, I don't think about that when I'm working. I just work very spontaneously. Maybe you think that some of these pieces are sad and some happy, I don't know. But I don't think about that really. I just arrive to my studio and I work. Yes?
How did you get involved in traveling around the world doing these types of things?
Well, I will tell you, you never know what's going to happen. I always try to do my best, and you never know who's going to pass by and see your work. And like people see them and then they ask who is the artist who made this piece, and then I get an email, an invitation, and it's something that I'm not looking for. I get invitations, and it has been really incredible. In fact, I have an invitation this year for Vienna, Austria, and I already have the project in my mind. And they saw a piece of mine, I don't know where. They asked about my email or name, and they contact me, and I don't know, maybe something will come out from this show, you know? You never know who's gonna enter, and maybe they like it and they want to do a project. So it's like a chain. One thing brings the next one. And when you try and you stress yourself looking for something, it's not so positive. Just let it flow, and it arrives. Or it may not. I have been lucky that it arrives. Somebody else? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.